Hi gardening friends. I'd like to give you an update on my fall veggie garden. This is going to be the last of my videos because tonight we're supposed to get down to 25 I think. So things will get frozen. I just want to document some of my perennial fruits that are still fruiting and some of the veggies that are still green and giving me enough for lettuces and some meals, some freezing, some herbs. So I'm going to work on my raspberries today because the berries are smaller and smaller all the time. There aren't a whole lot of bees around. There are some, and there's still some flowering, but they're very small. And I want to clean this up, pull out some of the raspberries, thin them, and add that bark mulch, which I have done to my asparagus patch. So I have a trailer for my raspberries. I will be digging out some of the raspberries on the outside of the cinder block. This is a cinder block raised bed, and over here on this side you can see they came out of the cinder block. So I'm going to take these out and plant them down in the bog garden. Well, actually just in the bog, not in the garden part, in the wild, and see how they fare, what kind of raspberries they produce, and if the deer eat them all. I might fence them in, I don't know, we'll see. So that's on today's agenda, thinning out the raspberries. But you know, something else always creeps up, and I'll probably be doing a little more. Still getting little heads of broccoli, and my green beans, the Vortex, just aren't turning brown yet. They've been on here for, seems like weeks. Some were a little light green, so I picked them before the freeze and put them on back in my shed where it stays dry, and hope that the beans develop. What do you think? Will I get beans that will grow next year? I'll just have to see. I'll have to do the paper towel method and see if they germinate. Still getting calendulas, but I think tonight will be the last of the night. The cucumbers can all come out. Kale still harvesting, so that's good. More broccoli. Some of the Swiss chard. That'll probably fare okay. I don't know. Will it take the 20s? I don't know. I have my, you see my shadow, I have a hooded sweatshirt up. Then, of course, it's done with the cucumbers. I picked the last yesterday and made some fermented pickles. I also took some cucumbers and I put them in my food processor and ground them down to a pulp. And I froze that mushed up cucumber into ice cube trays. And I will be using it for facial. 1 cube per facial. Because during the winter, the organic cucumbers are expensive. And I use it for my skin. So now I have cucumber for my skin. I will pick beans before this freeze. This is the scarlet runner bean. And boy, I tell you, it produces so nicely. And I just don't let the beans get real big. And, you know, a lot of pods, or, you know, the seed pod in there, I don't let it get big. But it's still producing nicely. And the Japanese beetles didn't like it this year. So we'll see. But it's definitely a grow again. So in this bed here, I am going to, as soon as I cut off, I will not pull out the beans. I will cut them off because they're nitrogen fixing. Then pull off the vines. But in this bed here, can you see my neighbor's big pine trees? Okay, the roots go into this all my raised beds here, the one over there and here. So now what I must do is sever roots that are finding their way to my raised beds and then pull out the roots. And I don't want to dig in here too much. So through the years, if I go on this outside edge and sever the root, then I'm thinking, and I pull it too if I can, pull it out, that they'll be under control. They won't go all the way into this bed. So I'm getting it ready for the lasagna method. And I now do about, I don't do up to the top of the chicken wire, which is 2 foot. I probably do about 1 foot to 18 inches of mulch. And this is leaves and grass clippings. Okay? And I will keep layering it in these beds. And I'll take out my stepping stones, of course. That's so I don't compact the soil too much during harvesting season, because I wasn't smart enough at 9 years ago, or what was it? 7 years ago, when I made these raised beds, to make them 4 by whatever so I could reach across them. So I put stepping stones in here so I don't walk all over the soil completely. So anyways, that's my raised lasagna bed. And I'll keep adding layers of grass clippings and leaves and coffee grounds I'll be putting in there. Worm castings. Oh, comfrey. I gotta cut my comfrey too yet. So that'll go on there. It'll go on the other raised bed over there too. And it'll go on this mini raised bed over here. So I have some work ahead of me, but I can do that kind of stuff when it's cold. Lavender's doing super. Super, super. It came back 1 year. That's 1 year's growth from seed last year. And can you see how stalky it is? Isn't that something? And then there's new growth coming below. So I'm going to be pruning this. Now I have to see if I'm going to, I think I'll prune it before winter. And the stone that it's up against, the raised bed, helps heat it through the winter. This zone 5 growing area. So I'm hoping that works. I don't get a whole lot of sun over here in the winter. This is the west side, and you can see the house is shading it, and it's what? It's probably about 10:30 in the morning, so it doesn't get a lot of sun. My herbs are doing nicely still, of course. They'll take some cold. Parsley, spearmint. Oh yeah, tastes good in my mojitos. 1 is about my limit of mojito, and 2 possibly. Cheap date here. My lettuces, what is that? What? Butter crunch. Now, you can see I have these metal, they used to be old real estate signs, and I cut them down, put them into the cinder block hole so I can cover with a piece of plastic and a sheet. Right now I'm just doing a sheet. That's enough to get them through a freeze that's not too bad. So what else do I have here? I have Radaceous red lettuce, some bok choy, chives, that comes back every year. More red lettuce, more red, kind of a red Cimarron, I don't know, romaine of some type. Some leafy with a little red in it. Can you tell I like red? Little more kale. My amaranth. Oh, I'm going to have tons of amaranth over here. That seed's falling. I took most of the seed out. Spread it in my wild area. Here's my comfrey. It will be getting cut and used as mulch. Oh, I have comfrey roots someplace here too. Where'd I put it? Oh, it's in the wheelbarrow. I dug 1 clump up that was in my raspberries. And I know that it'll come back next year because you can't get it all. But I'm going to dry some root. Lemon balm. Oh boy, I dried a lot of that. I have 2 gallon, I think it's 2-gallon institutional size glass jars, you know, that you get like pickles and peppers in from Sam's. Well, that's what I use to store my dried herbs. Works out good. Some more red romaine, and what else? Some more of that reddish leaf lettuce, and my peppermint. I keep my peppermint away from my spearmint on the other end, and I don't let them flower so they won't cross-pollinate. My Greek oregano and common sage. All of these herbs I've dried, all of them. Holy basil, 2 of the 2-gallon jars full of that. I have tea daily. Now this here I'm going to cut tonight, or before tonight, this afternoon, and make a vinegar, flavored vinegar. I suppose you'd say it's a tincture in the vinegar, and have a holy basil vinegar. Those are bull's blood beet. Those will last through the cold. I don't think the basil will. No, I'm pretty sure it's going to go limp tonight. And my carrots. I've been pulling them all summer, and this was some of the babies when I pulled them and thinned them that are coming now, so that's a nice thing. More sweet basil. What else in there? Kohlrabi's in there. Some dill left. I'll be picking my dill and just drying whatever I have of it yet. So I have to get this bed ready for the lasagna method, but it won't be empty for a while yet. I would say for a couple weeks. So what I'll do is heap everything over here where it's empty, and then take the grass clippings and leaves and whatnot and put it into this bed over here when I'm done pulling things out. But right now I'm going to be covering the lettuces when it gets down into below freezing, just so I have them for a while. Just cleaning up. I cut most everything down. I still have to cut this stuff down, and then I just drop it. I chop and drop, even in my perennial garden now, so it feeds the soil. Here I have some cilantro where I threw some stalks that had dried seed pods on them, and I'm just putting over some clear totes to make like a mini greenhouse and see if it helps let it grow for a while. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but I have everything here, so it won't. It's not expensive trying to do this, or hard. So I transplanted some plants that were thickly planted, and we'll see if they come. Doesn't get much sun here, so we'll see. Ooh. And then some borage that I still am harvesting. The flowers are oh so pretty. And nasturtiums. I have some nasturtiums in an area in the front yard that I am harvesting for salads yet. Green onions are down in the bog area. I have them down there for eating yet. I wonder if those will get hit by a freeze, because I didn't cover anything down there. So that's it from my Wisconsin garden. Some cilantro that is going to seed again, but I will harvest that and chop it up just to have, you know, puree it in my food processor. Then I can just stir it into something, even though it will be all mushed up. It'll still give me that cilantro taste, which I like. So thank you for being viewers of my channel. I really appreciate it. I've learned so much through the years from all of you. So thanks for visiting. And take care, my gardening friends.